Welcome to the initial broadcast of the Tennessee Firearms Association's podcasting. The purpose of this initial podcast is to provide you with some information about what the Tennessee Firearms Association is, what its goals are going forward, and what its plans are with respect to podcast or videocasts starting in 2021. First, let's answer the question of what is the Tennessee Firearms Association. The TFA is a Tennessee nonprofit corporation that was formed in 1995. Its purpose is to advocate for Second Amendment issues in Tennessee for Tennesseans. That includes everything from permitting to whether we need a permit, to where you can carry a firearm, when you can carry a firearm, for what purposes you can use a firearm, hunting issues, civil rights issues, and even 10th Amendment issues, among others. The TFA over the last quarter century has worked regularly with the Tennessee General Assembly on improvements to Tennessee's firearms laws, Tennessee's handgun permitting laws, Tennessee's self-defense laws, and it has worked diligently to try to defeat bad legislation that is frequently introduced. The purpose of these podcasts is moving forward into 2021. TFA plans to have regular podcasts and videocasts that provide two distinct classifications of information. One will be podcasts, hopefully on a weekly basis, that give legislative updates about what legislation is pending, what legislation has been addressed during the prior week by the General Assembly, what legislation is scheduled to be heard in the upcoming 2 weeks, and details about the legislation that would help you be more informed and prepared when you contact your individual legislators to tell them that you want them to either support, amend, or defeat the proposed legislation. The other category of podcasts that we're planning to do will address legal and other issues in Tennessee that aren't necessarily tied to pending legislation. So, for example, we'll probably do podcasts on what is the right of self-defense in Tennessee? Can you defend property or real estate with deadly force in Tennessee? Do you have the right in Tennessee to carry a firearm without a permit? And if so, when can you do that and under what circumstances? These two categories of information that we plan to put out, we hope will better enable you to be an advocate for Second Amendment issues in Tennessee as a supporter of the Tennessee Firearms Association. And secondly, will help you better understand Tennessee law and the problems that exist with Tennessee law that require modifications or changes. Now, the Tennessee Firearms Association is also recognized by the Internal Revenue Service as a 501c4 organization. It's not a charity. Contributions, memberships in the TFA are not tax deductible. That's because the Internal Revenue Service classifies the TFA as an issue advocacy group. We're tax exempt, but we're not a charity. It's because we engage in political activity. Next, it's important to understand that the Tennessee Firearms Association is not a political action committee. The TFA does not advocate for or against one political party or another, nor does it advocate for or against one candidate or another. TFA focuses on issues, not the individual candidates running for public office. However, that's not to say that TFA is not interested in the candidates and who's holding public office, because those considerations directly impact our ability to succeed. TFA separately has an organization that it's affiliated with called the Tennessee Firearms Association Legislative Action Committee. You'll hear more about it in the future, but the TFA LAC is the TFA's political action committee. It's the organization that raises funds and helps directly support financially and otherwise candidates for public office or works to defeat incumbents who have been in public office but proven that they're not willing or able to support your rights on the Second Amendment. We hope you plan to participate in these podcasts as they come down, hopefully on a regular basis in the future, and that these will help you better understand what the current law is in Tennessee, how you can help change the current law, and why you should support and encourage others to support the Tennessee Firearms Association. You can get more information about the Tennessee Firearms Association on our website at www.tennesseefirearms.com. That's www.tennesseefirearms.com. You can also find us in our Facebook group and on our Facebook page, as well as on Twitter. We hope you look forward to the upcoming 2021 podcast series and encourage you to support the Tennessee Firearms Association and help us grow the grassroots effectiveness of gun owners in Tennessee.